This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel this fine afternoon. Whether it wants to rain, whether it wants to sun, whether it wants to just be an alright day to have a backyard campfire, who quite yet knows. But what I know for certain is I have not done a certain video that needed to be done a while ago when the regular season was fully cancelled. I never got around to it, so let's get around to it right now. Is at the point break, or the season pause, when we entered the pause season, and then all of a sudden now the regular season's cancelled and it's full on playoff mode right away here. Before that, I never did a leader of each category of stats for the Edmonton Oilers. So that is what I'm going to deliver to you today for the 2019-2020 season using NHL.com stats. So if anyone's going to have the official stats, it's going to be these guys. Alright, so we'll start off quite simply, easy, with the games played leaders, because there's 3 of them. And if you're wondering why we saw so much of Ethan Bear and Darnell Nurse do good and bad things this year, it's because they are one of 3 Oilers to play all 71 games. That being Darnell Nurse, Leon Draisaitl, and Ethan Bear, your games played leaders at 71 games played. The next closest, and this one actually shocked me just looking at the list, I never realized this, is Riley Sheahan, who had played 66 games. Interesting, right? Interesting to note, that is for sure. Now, you flip over to the goal category. I think everybody's going to figure this one out pretty quickly. Mr. 110 point Leon Draisaitl. Getting into the next point totals. But 43 goals for Leon Draisaitl this year. That 50 mark, was it a blip? No, it's a real thing. Leon Draisaitl knows how to score at the NHL level and score a lot. Next closest was Connor McDavid in second with 34. Now the assist leaders, this is where it gets a little tighter. You've got Leon Draisaitl with 67 assists. And then you've got Connor McDavid with 63, so that's what I'm talking. Leon Draisaitl, your leader there, and of course he'll sweep the points category based on that. I've already mentioned it. 110, so a solid go there. Now plus minus. This one should not surprise you too much in terms of how this goes, as there are 4 positive plus minus players on the Oilers this year, and there's one guy in the teens, and it's the high teens. And I mean, this guy, oh my goodness, wow. How do you come up, play 27 games, and make as much of an impact as he did? Calorie Yamamoto, a plus 17. I know I'm not a big fan of plus minus, but when you're double and a bit up on Matt Benning, who's in second, you can't help but admire that for sure. Problem is, just the other way plus minus goes, the second worst, or the worst on the team, was James Neal at a minus 20. That's a 37 goal swing right there. Penalty minute leaders. All right. Anyone got guesses? Well, this one should be pretty simple for you. Zach Kassian, all that mess around with Matthew Tkachuk back in January. Yeah, that one's going to pretty much secure you 69 penalty minutes. And what a nice total, eh? What a nice total, for sure. So, there you go. Points per game leader. Any guesses here? It's actually not that shocking. Again, Leon Draisaitl in there, full swing. But it's a lot closer than you think points per game leader, as Leon Draisaitl's got a 1.55 point per game average. Connor McDavid, 1.52. Wow. All right. Even strength goals. Leon Draisaitl, 27. Connor McDavid next there with 23. Even strength points. Leon Draisaitl, 66 points to Connor McDavid's 54. All right. Power play goals. 16 for Leon Draisaitl. Next closest being James Neal with his 12 power play markers. The guy was dynamite on the power play early in the season before that toe started bothering him. And then, of course, power play points. Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid right there tied pretty much with each other. 44 for Leon, 43 for Connor. Now, let's go get some stats that aren't going to involve those two, as Josh Archibald, your leader in shorthanded goals, with 2. There was only 3 shorthanded goals all season for the Oilers, and of course Riley Sheahan had the other one, so that's off, right? Shorthanded points. This one goes like this. It's a 3-2-1 flow chart, and it's of course Sheahan or Archibald with 3, Sheahan with 2, and then Chris Russell with 1. Now, overtime goals. This is actually a little bit of a split difference here, as the Oilers only had 4 overtime winners this year. I know. How crazy is that? Doesn't that seem crazy? But they had 4 overtime winning goals. Leon Draisaitl with 2, Josh Archibald with 1, and Alex Chiasson with 1 as well. Now, game-winning goals this year, 10 game-winning goals for Leon Draisaitl out of his 43. The guy clutched up. That is for sure. Now, the shot category. This one, when you score 43 goals, shouldn't be too surprising. 218 shots for Leon Draisaitl to lead the team. Connor McDavid, with 7 less games played, shot the puck 212 times. That's something we've been looking for a long time. We'll take that with a nice little check mark in the column. Connor McDavid, 2019-2020. Come on, playoffs. Shoot that puck all day, all night. Now, this one, well, my friends, is going to be a tough one to swallow here for a quick second, but we'll do it anyway. Calorie Yamamoto, your shooting percentage leader at 25%, probably contributes to that plus 17 just fine. And rest in peace, Colby Cave, the next leader on the team, 11 games played, shot the puck 5 times at a goalie and scored one of them. And hey, like I said, tough to swallow because it was one of the most gorgeous goals by somebody not named Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl this season, in which he did exactly what those two guys are capable of and absolutely crushed it. So rest in peace, Colby Cave. And of course, if you haven't already, I have been looking for the right avenue to say this. Definitely check out Cooper Marody's new song that's a tribute for Colby Cave. I haven't had the chance because I haven't been on Spotify. I've never actually been on Spotify, so maybe I'll have to do that today. But definitely, if you get a chance, get on there, stream it, and let me know how it is. And I'll let you know my thoughts if I can get around to it today, hopefully. Now, time on ice leader, that would be belonging to Oscar Klefbom with 25 minutes and 25 seconds per game, followed by Nurse at 23:27, followed by Draisaitl at 22:37. All right, face-off win percentage. Oh boy, you're gonna love this. We have 3 guys who were perfect in the face-off dot this season, according to NHL.com, and they win by by just having taken a face-off. But we'll get down to the actual guys who will win the award here in a second, and of course it's not going to shock you. But Benson, Ennis, and Yamamoto all were perfect in the face-off dot this year, followed up by the actual leader who took more than 2 or 3 face-offs this season, Leon Draisaitl, at 52.1%. Now the other side here is a lot of people were critical of throwing Jujhar Khaira at center. He is actually the second highest face-off man on this team at 51.5%. Yes, less time than, say, a Draisaitl or Nugent Hopkins, but Nugent Hopkins also in there at 50.7. So we had some solid years out of some guys that historically have needed to bump up their face-off percentages, and they're all above 50. So that is some very, very welcome news. And Riley Sheahan at 49%. So 49 out of 100. 1 time out of 100 extra for the other guy. That's not that bad. So that's your stat category leaders. I don't think there's anything else we need to sum up here. Face-off wins, goals for and against, miscellaneous, penalties, penalty kill, penalty shots, power play, puck possession. Yeah, I don't think actually, hold on. Here's what we need to do. Shootout goals. Who leads the Oilers in shootout goals in shootouts this season? Well, how about Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, both tied with 1 apiece. That's all you need to know there. They both led this team, scoring 1 marker each in the shootout this year, guys. Those are your stat category leaders for the 2019-2020 NHL season, as we now sit roughly less than 20 or 28 days away from the playoffs getting underway, with training camp kicking off July 10th and then playoffs shortly after. Guys, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will catch you in the next one.